So let me begin by introducing you to the eminent speakers of this section. Mr. Nilesh Sonawane, Senior Director of Finance at GupShup, and Ms. Rajeshwari Bhattacharyya, Global Head at Percipere. Let's kickstart this fireside chat. Ms. Rajeshwari will indulge in a one-on-one conversation with Mr. Nilesh, who will share his first-hand experience of being on the Cloud ERP journey at GupShup for more than 2 years now. Over to you, Raji.
Thank you, Nishta. And I'm indeed glad to host this chat with Nilesh.
Thank you.
And GupShup has always been ahead in terms of anything technology. And it's our pride and privilege that we have been part of the ERP journey, the Cloud ERP journey with GupShup. So thank you, Nilesh, for accepting our invitation. My first question to you is, what prompted you or what triggered the process of moving away from legacy into a Cloud ERP, into an ERP solution?
So every business in its startup phase generates a lot of data. And what they're looking for at that particular point in time is that a system that sort of acts more like a database management system, right? The moment you move from the startup or launch phase to the growth phase,
right,
that's when you obviously the data is important, but you need information, right? That will help take the informed decisions.
Correct.
To go to that or take on the challenges of the growth phase. Similar thing happened at GupShup from the startup phase to the growth phase. The traditional ERP systems fell short of sort of enabling, right, the movement or the conversion of that data into information. That's when we were looking for a system which is intelligent enough, which will help us to sort of carry that journey with us from a database management to sort of processing it into the information. That's how we came across, we sort of explored a few options. SAP being the leader into sort of the intelligent systems that the businesses were looking for, we went straight away for SAP. And in SAP, there were those choices whether you want to go for on-prem or cloud. The thought process behind cloud was the data, which earlier used to reside on-prem, right, has now moved to cloud. Why not the systems also move to the cloud? That's how we opted for the cloud ERP systems of SAP.
Thank you, Nilesh. In fact, couple of insights for me is that you mentioned about the growth phase, and to keep pace with the growth, you had to upgrade your systems. And also the aspect that Cloud ERP brings in terms of the agility, right? The elasticity, the agility. As you grow, there are far more other processes that you require. Your data sizing, you cannot keep upgrading your servers. The elasticity is ensured in Cloud ERP. So I can completely understand where you're coming from. And now comes the next challenge for customers. Predominantly, they decide that they want to go in for a changeover or an overhauling of their systems. But there is this anxiety that during the implementation phase, there's a lot of investment of resource, in the sense, your team, you have lead managed the entire Cloud ERP journey for GupShup. So there is this anxiety that your team members will be on a project. How long will this project run? Typically, people are, kind of fed this information that it's a long drawn project, lot of investment in terms of time, energy, effort, and your resources have to double up and do things. So how was your implementation journey through the entire cycle that, from deciding to then going live on a Cloud ERP?
So we were helped by the SAP teams significantly as far as our journey from the initial sort of design phase to implementation phase. The traditional thought process is that ERP implementation takes years, right? The agility that was provided by the Cloud ERP system was something that excited us. And my own experience, it was super fast. I never expected the systems to be up and sort of live within 4 months, right, of the discussions. That's how the journey was, and completely appreciate the Percipere and the SAP teams, right, who sort of took us through without much pain. The best thing about that journey was the agility or the agile sort of system of implementation. Uh, there have been sort of few sort of people who have been against it, right? But then my own experience as far as the agile system is concerned, it was perfectly suitable. I think that that's exactly what we were expecting from the system, to sort of start the journey with us, stay with us, and be there even right post implementation. That's how the entire process happened. We started the discussions, right? The best thing about Cloud ERP is that they sort of are agile, flexible enough to understand. So the first thing is that to understand what exactly is expected out of this implementation project, the value that we want to add to the business, right, by having this system on board.
Correct.
Understanding of that value proposition, right, and then accordingly giving the solutions that suits ultimately to achieve that result. It's something that was completely different from my traditional experience of ERPs, which were the standard, right, ERP systems who sort of ask you to behave as they want, rather than what we experienced during the Cloud ERP implementation, wherein the system understood what business wants and accordingly sort of modified itself to deliver the results.
I think that's very well taken, Nilesh. In fact, technology for business sake is always useful and it's always successful. And thank you for appreciating our efforts as well. And we also realize that your involvement as senior management in driving the change within GupShup has also been instrumental in kind of users adopting and not having too much of resistance. Now that the platform is set, you have an integrated cross-modular software in place, and your basic anxiety with respect to your financials, your interaction across functions and all of that resolved. How are you looking at the next phase, right? GupShup is a very, very vibrant and very growing company, and I know you as a person, who's always on the move in terms of doing the next best thing. So, what do you have in mind in terms of the next steps for GupShup?
So at GupShup, the one value that we sort of give the most importance to is intelligence or invention, right? The moment you sort of hire a talent, right, what you look for in that talent is the intelligence that that talent has would sort of enable the next level of growth for GupShup. When we onboard the systems, it's the same value that we look at whenever we are finalizing the system. Whether the system is intelligent enough, right, to add to the value, right, proposition of the company. We spoke about data at the startup phase. We spoke about information at the growth phase. If you have to sort of go from good to great, right, it's the intelligence of that information. That's what sort of gives you or enables you to go to that level. And that's what is the expectation out of this system. And we knew from the beginning that this system is not just going to process the data into an information, but also sort of give some insights, some intelligent insights from that information that will help us to sort of take the company to the next level. And different modules of analytics, right, that SAP has on offer. There are CRM, right? So that's how we look our processes or break our processes into the CRM, the legal systems, the accounting systems, and then the customer management or customer platforms. The end-to-end integration through the intelligence of the SAP systems is what the vision of GupShup is, and that's where we have started our journey with you guys.
And there again, I think a very valid point that you kind of articulated, from data to information to intelligence. And the aspect that you put cross-modular and deriving the best out of the information that you already have. What next in terms of building operational efficiency? Are you looking at something like a robotic process automation. What are your thoughts around that? Being from, especially, lead managing the finance function, how do you look at the RPA journey for you?
So during this journey from data to information, we've come across many processes, right, that are sort of redundant, which are repetitive in nature, which sort of does not allow the resources to work on the intelligence part of the information bit. What we are trying to do is we are trying to identify those processes which can be automated through the use of bots or RPA processes. We would definitely like to implement them over here and remove those redundancies from the operations, so that the entire resources is free to sort of take up on the analytics part of it, and then generate the intelligence that will help the company to sort of take on the journey to the next level.
Sure. And any other demerits or anything that you would want to advise the participant on their cloud ERP journey?
I have not come across any demerits as such, right?
Okay.
What I have experienced is, as I said, a total implementation cycle of 8 to 12 weeks.
Right.
On paper is not just on paper. It was there for me to see that the transformation happened within 12 weeks start, right? We were live on the systems, and this agile sort of method of implementation, what it does is it not only helps mature the system developers, right, but it also sort of helps mature the users of the systems. Whatever traditional thought process that they might be having by using those traditional ERPs, right? This agile system helped me to do away with that thought process, right?
Okay.
Adopt to the new technology, and simultaneously the systems were ready, the users were ready, right? Day one of the go live, right date, and it was absolutely the way, or the results were as desired at the beginning of the process. So
sure.
I would sort of recommend anybody who is thinking of sort of changing the systems, right, and taking on this digital transformation, to go for Cloud ERP, right, as their solution.
Sure. Thank you for those insights, Nilesh. Indeed, I think you have a very large plan for GupShup, and we are as equally excited to be working with you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for your participation, and thanks for sharing your insights and your experience with the participants here.
Thank you. I would like to sort of use this platform to appreciate what you guys are doing, right, as far as taking the businesses and helping them during this digital transformation. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Nilesh.